Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, the blues. We're going to be talking about all the different aspects of playing blues. We're going to be talking about the phrasing. We're going to be talking about rhythm. We'll talk about some of the different scales I'm using. It's basically 3 lines, and in those 3 lines, it's a coupled phrase. So you have the first part of the phrase, and then there's an answer to that line. Now, the second phrase, or when you go to, if many of you know, the 4 chord, this is the 5th bar of the blues. You can't just take off from there and play something totally unrelated. You've got to play something that comes back to that first part of the story again. So maybe you mirror that first part again. And then the answer to it may be a little bit ornamented from where it was. And then you have the 9th bar of the blues. Now this is your big answer. Often I see guitar players and they are playing blues solos and they're playing a lot of notes. But they're not telling a story. We're not hearing any kind of lyrical content to it. So it's very important to study that. Study not just the blues guitar players but study the song, study the vocals, listen to the rhythm of the vocals. If you follow that, then your solos are going to be very melodic. Let's talk about one of the most important things in blues, which is the rhythm. Let's talk about triplets. As you all know, much of blues is written on what's called a shuffle, which is a grouping of dot, 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 dot. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you can mirror that in your solo, by playing triplets and following the phrasing, you can get a very effective solo. Now, sometimes in a more rocked out blues, we have something that's not triplet based. We have something that's more straight 8th note based. Now, I'll turn on my distortion pedal so we get the real feeling. So how do we play, how can we think about triplets on that when the rhythm is so clearly ba da 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 da, not triplet based. And for the most part, our solo is going to mirror that rhythm. Eighth notes and 16th notes. But now listen to this. If we break it up with the triplet, with a rhythm of 3 16th notes, then all of a sudden we change the contour. We give it a feeling of going against the regular beat. So that's an interesting idea for you to work on. Now let's talk about the different scales that are possible when you're playing the blues. Of course, we all start off learning the basic blues scale. And maybe you've gotten to the major blues scale, which can be fingered in the same way that the minor is, but starting with your fourth finger. So how can we use these two scales together and mix and match when we're playing the blues? That's where it gets really interesting. I like to think the blues is the intersection of the major and minor pentatonic. A good way to practice that would be to go up with the major and down with the minor. See how that works? Just in the first two measures. We start with a major and then change the color going down. When we go to the fifth bar, maybe go to the minor. Then when we go to the ninth bar, sometimes it's nice there if you can catch a little bit instead of just, we get something, just maybe a little taste of that chord. And then that's the major and the minor. I have a different set of fingerings than maybe you've seen. Mine are a diagonal set of fingerings that go across the neck. And the minor. So those can really expand and not be stuck, so to speak, in one horizontal position. I have a lesson on those fingerings called fretboard harmony, so please check my Lessonface site. I'll go into much greater detail on that site. The final topic for today is getting a more jazzy sound on blues changes. So I'm going to take the premise that you all know how to play a basic 1-4-5 blues. Change the harmony. I'm going to give you just an example without getting too much into theory. We'll take like the simple children's tune, Heart and Soul. You all probably played it on the piano. Heart and soul. Ba-doo, 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 do-do, so the chords C, A minor, F, and G with basic straight triadic bar chords. So I'm going to change the character of it a little bit by, instead of going to the F, now I'm going to go to a D minor 7 chord. Bum, bum, bum. Hear that? Right away it warms up. This is a different kind of voicing. I have another lesson, it's an introduction to jazz, so you should check that for the voicings. But we're going to a D minor 7 and then to a G 13th, which is still a G chord, but it's a different voicing. So now listen to the progression. Heart and soul. And one more little alteration. Instead of going from the C to an A minor, I'm going to go to an A7 sharp 5, which is going to lead you into the D minor 7. Heart and soul. Okay, so in the blues form, now instead of going to the E chord, I'm going to go to a B minor chord. B minor 7, and then the E chord. And the same thing that I did on Heart and Soul. I'm going to lead to that A chord by going to an F sharp chord. You can hear this kind of progression. The first time I heard this in the Sound of Blues was in the Allman Brothers version of Stormy Monday, where they went. And it was like, oh, okay, that's a different sound. I'm going to play one more thing here for you today. We'll try and get into some of that idea of phrasing and then mixing it in with some more jazzy harmony. Thanks. Looking forward to meeting with you and working with you on Lessonface.